So, check this out. There have been 1 million One Piece DVDs and Blu-rays sold, all told, in Japan. 1 million. This is based on a Japanese market survey by a firm, Oricon Communications. They do a lot of stuff for tracking things. As of September 6th through 12th, they have moved 1.011 million copies. The franchise sold 29,000 copies in that week alone. So it's just crazy. The One Piece film Strong World is now at number 4 in the overall rankings. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let's see here. Oh, this is kind of fun. So, are you familiar with AKB48? They are a pop group in Japan. They're kind of trying to be Morning Musume, but more fan-friendly. And they get a PSP dating sim, basically. It's going to release AKB 1/48 Idol to Aishitara, aka If I Were to Love an Idol. The ultimate dating fantasy game, which kind of worries me. The first official authorized home video game based on AKB48. In the game, all 48 members of the troupe will confess their love for the player, and the player will have to choose one of them for a unique happy ending. The game will use 10,000 photographs of the members, as well as about 80 minutes of video of the members confessing their love to the player, and full voice recordings of all the members' dialogue. It will ship December 23rd in 4 different versions. Standard edition with just the game itself and a photograph. Unlimited pressing with a video UMD and 3 photographs. Unlimited pressing with a video UMD and more bonus exclusive items. And a premiere special pack with all the bonus exclusive items and an exclusive PSP system itself, which is pink. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, you'd think they want to do a harem end, but that would take forever for them to do, wouldn't it? Harem ending for 48 girls. Jeez, imagine that. This is kind of cool, and I would say almost a first. The Nanoha movie that's coming out, the first Nanoha movie, which has been a big thing. They're going to put an English subtitle track on the original Japanese release. Yeah, that's surprising. Only Ghibli does that. Moreover, they're doing an audience participation track. Basically, they screened the film for a bunch of people, and then, like in Japan, and recorded the audience reactions. And they're going to put that recording on the DVD so you can listen to an audience reacting to the movie, which I think is actually pretty cool. You get kind of the whole experience of people talking. Let me remove my email address from that. That's better. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a really cool idea, I think. I wish more folks would do that. So you get shouted reactions and people going, kawaii, and all that in Japan. Fine. There's an upcoming anime adaptation of Night on the Galactic Railroads, which I don't know if you guys are all familiar with Night on the Galactic Railroad. It's a story by Kenji Miyazawa, who's a poet. I won't get into all that. There was an anime adaptation of that, I think about 20 years ago. And Miyazawa does these stories kind of for kids, but they're very weird. They're very, folks go on these weird fantasy adventures into these weird worlds and then come back, and it's bizarre. So they're working on an anime adaptation of this, and they just announced Maya Sakamoto has signed on to be a voice in that. She was the original Hitomi in Escaflowne. She's working on Black Butler, Arakawa Under the Bridge. She was in Gundam Seed Destiny. She's done a lot of different stuff. She's a big talent. That's cool. Illustrator Take, who did the illustrations for the Katanagatari light novels, and the anime studio UFO Table or UFO Table, who, let me get the information in that actually, because I remember them doing some interesting stuff that was worth noting. Let's see here. UFO Table has done, wow, they've worked on a lot of different stuff. Trying to skim out the stuff that's like in between animation and middling animation, but I'll put it this way: they've worked on everything from Read or Die to Evangelion 1.0 to Full Metal Alchemist to Gurren Lagann, Sky Girls to Heart, White Album, all sorts of stuff. And most of that is assistance, but still, that's pretty darn cool. So, who's doing it? Katsushi Ota, who is the editor of Kodansha's literary magazine, is actually overseeing the production. And so that's pretty darn cool. It sounds like it's going to be a really interesting adaptation. Nice seeing a really big name, a couple of big names coming behind. It's kind of a literary artsy project. You know, kind of like we're going to adapt, I don't know, a Stephen King novel and getting really big names behind it. Although Stephen King's pretty big, but I don't know. It's nice hearing big things. Actually, it was like hearing that the Harry Potter movies would get John Williams music. That's a good sign. Anyway, so that's cool. This I don't think I have a lower third for, but I will see if I pull that. Yeah, I do. Cool. So there's a Vitamin X dating sim game, and it is getting an OVA. Vitamin X is intended for female players, so lots of cute boys, and a loli apparently, which is kind of disturbing. The game is set at an elite private academy that teaches every level from kindergarten until college, because that happens. A new female teacher is starting her second year, and she's now moving up to Class X, the infamous group of seniors. And all their previous teachers have retired due to ulcers or neurosis. She must reach out to these students and get them into college. So yeah, it's grade teacher Onizuka with girls, a girl and boys apparently. So oh well. I will say, I actually came across a dating sim, which I found out was for girls, and it was actually quite fine. I mean, like there was no H content. It was just, girl transported into this fantasy world surrounded by boys, and there's sort of romance stuff. But it was just a story about, guys and falling in love with them. It was a good story. I didn't play a lot of it, but it was cool. So that's fine. I try not to do too many, announcements of anime things, but that's kind of interesting. Let's see here. Who liked Linkin Park? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Yeah, I thought not. Anyway, okay, a few folks. Linkin Park is getting their own Gundam model. I'm not making this up. Sunrise apparently, or Bandai, said they're going to get a model kit in Japan. Now, Linkin Park has included like Gundam model kits in their videos and things like that. The question is how much the folks at... Do I have it here? I actually have an image of this. Where did I put it? I can show you what this actually looks like. There was the... Let's see here. We are at the Linkin Park. There it is. That's what it's going to look like. That's the new... And apparently, like, that's not color corrected. That's actually like black and white. So yeah, that's not really making us feel too... Maybe they just don't like Linkin Park over in Japan. I don't know. What they do like over in there is manga. And Square Enix has announced more information about their plans to release manga electronically in North America, which should be quite interesting. Square Enix, of course, Final Fantasy and all that stuff. But they actually control a whole bunch of manga and light novel contents and so forth. Yep, Chrono Cross. So basically the idea is it's going to be launched this winter. It'll use its existing Square Enix members website for its store, so it's leveraging its existing website. It'll use its existing payment system. And so they're just going to sort of leverage what they have. So nothing kind of new on that front. There'll be an iPhone and iPad app, which you can use as well. And they demonstrated it at a booth recently. And so apparently, like, there is code working. The entire, tool chain is in development and working pretty well. It did say right now it's only planning a North American release and actually a release in France. They'd love to do more countries and such, but they're kind of focusing on that for now, and hopefully they can expand. Not yet decided how to do this otherwise. But that's pretty cool, and they had that at their Comic-Con International booth. So that is moving forward. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, they did. They got their fingers in a lot of pies, like FMA. Speaking of such things, I love Asia. Wait, why didn't that go? 1 second. South Korean propaganda. The South Korean government released a manhwa about that boat that was sunk by the North Koreans. Like, they released their own manhwa that is their version of the events to inform the public about what they think kind of happened in all of that. Manhwa is Korean manga. And so it's a 32-page comic depicting the sinking of the Kyonan, or Shonan, however it's pronounced, which was allegedly torpedoed by North Korea a couple of back in March 26th. Read the news, come on. They're sending it out to schools and libraries and things like that. North Koreans insisted it was a mistake, South Koreans say it wasn't, so forth and so on. One of the reasons this is coming out actually is the current government is facing sort of a wave of unpopularity. They're losing a lot of seats in their, what is it, the House? I forget what they have over there. So the current sort of ruling party is worried. So they want to shore up public support for the government and so forth. So I would love to check this out. 32 pages, looks like a nice artwork, but government getting involved in doing things. And I was kind of amused to see the use of the word propaganda, because it's like, yeah, technically it's propaganda, but it's not like rewriting history. It's communicating what the government thinks happened. Whatever. Okay, moving on. Speaking of popular bands and such, the lead singer for Aerosmith, Steven Tyler, is going to write and sing the theme for the live-action space battleship Yamato movie. What the heck? So, yes, he's going to sing this song. He wrote it specifically for the film. The single will go on sale in Japan November 24th. It's actually his first solo single. To give you an idea, just so all of you know, because some of you aren't too familiar with Aerosmith, do I not have his image here? Blast. I thought I had the image here of what he looks like. It's fun. He's not really what you'd expect. He's a rocker. Imagine Keith Richards, that kind of thing. It's old guy. Speaking of folks who are getting older, Keanu Reeves was interviewed about the live-action Bebop movie, and I think I have something about that. Yeah. So basically, for those who don't know, Keanu Reeves was interviewed. Keanu Reeves tried to get a Cowboy Bebop live-action movie off the ground. And it's been in development, and they've got a script going and so forth and so on. And he said that basically, someone asked him what's going on with it, and he said, unfortunately, the most recent version of the script was turned in. It was really expensive. Lots of, require huge amounts of money. And so that's kind of stalled the project. And so it's going back to the studio. So the question is whether the studio is going to, what it's going to do. To give you an idea, this actually happened before with Conan the Barbarian. The original script was by